Welcome to the 30-second kayak rescue, presented by the Power of Water in Lansing, Michigan, and Have Kayaks Will Travel in Chicago, Illinois. So we'd recommend watching the video once through with the narration turned off, and then watch it again many times with the narration on.
So step one is to flip your boat right side up, slide the boat through the water so you're waiting at the bow. Once you know what direction your rescuer is coming in from, you want to position yourself so that you're able to hand your rescuer the bow of your boat and not hand them your face before the bow. The rescuer then slides the boat across their deck, edges their boat to raise the back of the cockpit enough to empty it, slides the boat back in the water, and then is moving the boat around the wet one. The wet one is not moving through the water column at all through the entire process. The only word that needs to be spoken is go once the rescuer has a stable grip. That's the signal for the wet one to get moving back into their cockpit. So the sequence is flip it right side up, slide it to the bow, be on the side of the boat that allows you to give your bow to your rescuer first. The rescuer slides, edges to dump, slides back, no lifting going on. The wet one is staying in position, so not moving through the water at all. The boat moves around them. Once a secure grip, the rescuer says go. The wet one jumps out of the water and into the cockpit. In rougher conditions, the technique doesn't need to change at all. It can be exactly the same. The rescuer is not going to approach until the wet one is waiting at the bow, indicating that, yes, they definitely would like to be rescued. Everything else follows exactly the same. You may want to have more separation between the wet one and the boat being rescued. The rougher the conditions, the more likely it is the boat could get banged around, and having them a little further away from the cockpit might be desirable. Personal choice. Moving the boats in the rougher conditions is definitely physically harder. You have to maintain a super secure grip so that you're not getting separated by the wind and the waves. But still well under 30 seconds. The wet one's view, capsize, flip, slide, wait at the bow, and be on the side of the boat that allows my boat to be the buffer between my rescuer and my face. Transfer grip from my boat to the rescuer's boat. Stay as far out of the way as I need to while he's dumping it. And then I'll transfer my grip from his boat back to my boat on the outside, wait for his go signal, and then jump out of the water and into the cockpit.
So if you could pick out one key that makes the 30-second rescue effective and efficient, is that the wet one is an active participant in their own re-entry into the boat. They're not just floating around hoping something good happens, they're making it happen. So on the safety piece, it's really important that we're not lifting the boat throughout this process. So we do need to raise the boat to clear the cockpit of the water, and you can either do that by sliding the boat way across your deck as the rescuer, or you can just lift your edge, and that gives that extra 3 or 4 inches of height, gives you as the rescuer complete stability, and gets the water out of the boat without putting your body in a dangerous position for injury. So another key piece that makes this a more efficient rescue is the idea of sliding the boat through the water and not the wet one swimming around the boat. There's a real easy experiment you can try with your friends. You have a race around the boat. Start at the bow, go to the stern, go around the stern, back to the bow. One person is going to do that swimming. The other person is just going to stay stationary in the water column and slide the boat around them. It's fun to watch. So if I'm coming in to rescue somebody, I'm not just barging in, I am waiting until they prove to me that they'd like to be rescued. So that is them waiting at the bow of the boat, with a boat presented so that I'm going to come to their boat before I come to their face. So some rescuers like to give their personal paddle to the person in the water while they're doing their rescue. Don't do that. The fact that you're rescuing someone suggests that perhaps they are less competent than you, since you're still in your boat, and I'm gonna give my paddle to them? I don't think so. So we have cut all these clips short of the two boats actually paddling away from each other. The rescuer's responsibility in terms of stabilizing the once wet one doesn't stop when they're back in the boat. It stops when they've got their skirt on, they've got their composure back, and they're ready to paddle. And for some folks, that might be 5 minutes. For other folks, it's 60 seconds. But what I don't want to do is have to do repetitive 30-second rescues, because that becomes a not fun thing for anybody. So I know some of you are thinking, what the hell is that saying on your shirt? Keith Weichel, the Gale Storm Gathering, English major. That's all I got.